Hello everybody, it's me again. Long time no here. Life gets in the way, work gets in the way, flying gets in the way. But I wanted to do a quick video here about, well, it won't be quick, but this video about radio range navigation. Something I really enjoyed in P3D V3 and V4 with the Milviz Bobcat that had this radio range station system built into the aircraft app, which was fantastic, but it never really worked in V5 for me, so I've been missing it. But found this by Electron Volt, this user, a few weeks ago, this radio range add-on for Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator. Fantastic. He's also done a sextant for celestial navigation by the sun, moon and stars, but that's way above my head at the moment. Trying to learn it, but too difficult for me. I'll get there, but this is pretty easy. It just takes a little bit of a concept, but I'm not going to explain too much about how it works. Just want to show you it in action. But first thing is, you've got on flightsim.to, you've got this radio range navigation app. Download it. It's fantastic, pretty easy to find. And then when you've opened it, of course, then you unzip the folder. It doesn't matter where you put the folder. It's going to look like this. Then you open it. Just have to have the sim running, and then open the app, which is this here, which will bring up this little receiver or frequency radio stack, whatever you want to call it. Runs outside the sim, like I say, so pretty cool. I've got it open twice here actually, so let's just close that down. So here we go. How does it work? Well, yeah, you've got this app, like I say. You've got documents here, which is fantastic. There's a great tutorial here, how to use it, and some in history. You can read all that yourself a little bit. And there's also some YouTube videos about it. But this, like I say, show it in action a little bit in the sim. So another great thing you've got here in the documents is the radio facilities chart from 1944, which is this here. Absolutely fascinating. I love this. I'd love a hard copy, paperback copy of this. Really would. So it's actually from the Armed Forces, Air Forces, from 1944, but the system, as I believe, it was just the same. No point installing so many expensive radio stations for military and then some for civilian, different ones. But this is excellent here. Very interesting to read. You got the legend, which is very important to study, so you know what everything means here. I was getting confused with true and magnetic, but I get my way around close enough. I'm not a real pilot, as you might be able to tell. I'm just a little bit of a gamer that enjoys flying. Right, so what's the principle? This would be a station, I think just this, I'm kind of visual. I think this helps a lot. You would have these stations with 4 beams, not always in this direction. You've got 4 quadrants, as I call them, and the opposite quadrants are with them identified. When you're flying in this quadrant, you'll get over the receiver a N Morse code signal, which is a long and a short, and if you're in these 2 opposites here, you'll get a short and a long, which is the A. Why is it A and N? Well, in the Morse code, A is dot dash and N is dash dot, and if you mix the 2 sounds together, it's actually pretty cool. It forms a line, a continuous line, so a continuous tone, I should say, and that's when you would be in this blue area where actually the tones are mixing, and you'd be on the beam. What's the beam? Well, the beam is like this direction here into the station. Yeah, they're not always in the same direction. There's a logic behind it, because of, like here, you would be switching airways here, so the Las Vegas, New Mexico, not Nevada. If you're flying out of Albuquerque, for example, here you fly along this airway here, the Green 4 airway, and when you want to go northeast, you'd switch 21 degrees inbound to Las Vegas here. Pretty cool. Anyway, you can study that yourself a little bit. I'm loaded up in the sim. I don't normally use Navigraph and cheat, but just to give a little overview. I've flown from the DC-6 in the DC-6 from Love Field, Dallas, going to Houston Hobby. I've flown down here to Waco, and now I'm outbound from Waco, heading for Navasota. And just by coincidence, which is lucky, we've got 2 modern VORs. Not exactly where these old stations used to be, but close enough. If you want to just to get confidence and back up, see if you're actually heading where you think you're heading, you can use Navigraph and fly on the VOR outbound. Like I say, it's not exactly the same course because they're not exactly in the same position, so we'll see in a moment. So I'm on page 57 of this document. 57. Next one is here, Dallas. Took off from here, followed the airway 189 degrees. Well, actually, 189. Yeah, 189 degrees down to Waco on the airway here, which is the Amber 4. I'm not going to zoom in. I don't want to mess up my windows here. But the Amber 4 airway. And now I'm heading outbound 129 degrees from Waco here. 129 degrees outbound, heading down to Navasota and then Houston. Okay, what's very important is these shaded areas here. Let's go back up to the top. Sorry. Very important. One of the biggest principles. If you don't remember this, you're not going to get anywhere fast. So you've got the A quadrants and the N quadrants. Like we said here, the N quadrants are not shaded. That's how I remember it. N is not shaded, so white quadrant, and A is shaded. And short and long you need to remember as well. You can always look at the chart and it'll tell you, but I just got it in my head now. The A starts with a dot, so A short, and N is a little longer, so that's a dash and a dot. That's how I remember. And the white quadrant, the not shaded area, is N. It's not shaded N. Easy. That's how I remember. So that's quite important for later. Let's go back down to number 50, page 57 of this chart, which is, there we go, Waco. And if you're looking for somewhere, it's quite hard to find. If you get the general area where you want to be, and of course here Dallas, and if you look at the page here, it says Tulsa is on page 43, which would be the northern section of that. So let's go to 43 just so you can see how to use this a little bit. It's kind of cool. 43 is the next one. So here's page 43, and 57 is Fort Worth South. And if you wanted to head up this way, American geography is not so great. Omaha would be north of that. East of that would be Nashville. West would be Albuquerque. Pretty cool. So anyway, back to page 57, which is that one. Okay, so I'm heading outbound from Waco. Let's get in the sim and see what's going on. There we go. There's my beautiful DC-6 paused. Let's just go outside. Wow, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Why is it paused? Yeah, I just wanted to show you this with the sound off a little bit. Well, I've got my engines sound off pretty much anyway. So I'm tuned into Waco, which is 385. Don't know what kind of hertz frequency it is. I don't care. But Waco 385. And I should be on the beam, so I should get a continuous tone, maybe a little bit of dots and dashes hidden into the tone. You'll hear now. So start listening. I've got the volume up on the app all the way up. You hear how that's kind of continuous? But the Morse code is in there. And now which kind of, is it N or A? Short, long. Short, long. Short, long. Every now and again you'll hear some other dots and dashes, like every 30 seconds or every minute it broadcasts. You see here on Waco, let's zoom in a bit there. On Waco there we've got dot dash dash. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to make a fool of myself trying to say that, but you'll hear them kick in. So where am I? I'm on the beam because it's kind of continuous, but a little bit. There you go. There we go, back to the tone. So we're on the right frequency. So here we go, we're short long, so we're in the A quadrant, so we're a little bit to the right of our outbound course. So if I go into the sim, unpause it, and we're looking for a 129 outbound. So yeah, you can see I'm flying about 125 degrees. So we need to turn right. Let's overcorrect a little bit, because you'll hear me go through the beam. Let's turn to about 145, 140, 145, something like that. You should hear the tone get a little bit more continuous. There's the identifier coming in again. Waco, back to the tone. Sometimes I get a bit impatient and overcorrect here. I like these slow planes and long flights, but I do get impatient. I'm sure we all do. So I'm pretty well on the beam there. Yeah, it's kind of hard to hear the Morse code now, so let's turn left onto our outbound course, which was 129. Like I say, I'm doing this a bit rushed and a bit heavy on the turns. I know the DC-6 likes to be treated a little bit softer than this, but just for the purpose of the video, to keep it under an hour. Yeah, we're on the beam, and as long as we're staying pretty much on 129 degrees out, or in that ballpark, we're going to be on the beam. We can practice your accuracy a little bit more. Normally I'd be a bit more fine-tuning, take more time. Okay, so what would be next after Waco here? So what I always like to do when I'm on the beam and I've got a little bit of time, guessing I'm somewhere around here, there's no DME, so you have to kind of keep your awareness of where you are, and you can do your times and ground speed. And so looks like I've got massive tailwind here. Anyway, so Navasota would be my next station, 212. I'm going to tune into that now and see if I can pick that up already. So let's tune into 212. Aha! Pretty loud. So I'm at this point now, I just switched stations. Of course, back in the day, I'm sure there were points where they switched over. Maybe ATC actually gave them the time to do that, but let's see where we are on the chart here. Let's listen. Short long. Yeah, so I'm in the A quadrant here, and the inbound course should be 131. I need to turn left a little bit. Just back that up very quick here. Make sure we don't go way off course. Yeah, short and long. So I'm in this quadrant. I need to turn right a little bit to get on course. But it's still a continuous tone. You can hear the continuous tone in the background there. There's the identifier. So pretty cool, therapeutic. It's you don't get many quiet moments just to relax, and take a pee or get a cup of tea or whatever. Yeah, you really need a flight attendant for that. Now we can hear still short long, so let's turn a little bit aggressively off course here so you hear it when it's not on the beam. You can hear the difference. Let's fly east. There we go, you can still hear we're pretty much on the beam. So a little look outside. Just absolutely now with this in Microsoft Flight Simulator, It was probably my second, maybe second or third best aircraft in any sim on P3D. Of course, Flight Sim Labs was up there, but I never flew it. It's boring, but it is amazing. And of course, the Cool Sky DC-9 was probably my all-time favourite. This was number 2 or number 3 behind the Cool Sky. But now it's in Flight Simulator, and there's not much other choice apart from the CRJ, maybe. This is my all-time favourite aircraft in any sim. So let's listen. Yeah, we're on the beam there. So now, at this point, we should now turn inbound to... can't remember the name of the place. Doesn't mean anything to me there. Navasota. Should turn 131, but we're going to fly through the beam, and in a moment we should be in the white section over here somewhere. And we should start hearing... white section is not shaded for N. Should be long short. Yeah, you hear that? Long, short. Still mixed because we're just still on the beam. Yeah, long, short. Getting into the end section. Like I say, at this point we should go inbound to the station. Pretty cool. Let's let her fly in that direction for a little bit. And yeah, I'm pretty much finished. That's how it works. You just hopscotch or leap, whatever, stepping stone across the country. This is the minimum safe altitude. Here is the identifier, Blue 5 airway. So yeah, I guess this is the changeover point. Yeah, there we go. Changeover point from Fort Worth control to San Antonio control. Here's Memphis control, San Antonio. Pretty cool. Yeah, you can clearly hear the long short now. Yeah. Okay. Just a couple more points. Like I say, yeah, if you're flying directly over a station, like with a VOR, the needles, they go dead, and here the tone would go dead. Cone of silence, they call it, when you're right over the station. That's what you're looking for, hitting every station when you get this 20-30 seconds of silence. It's like, yeah, I'm really on course, I've done a good job, I'm where I think I am. It kind of gets messy when you get near the station. And say, for example, here you're in this section, and you're hearing a N. You don't know if you're north or south of the station, or flying away to it, or away from it, or to it. So you really got to be aware of where you are, make your turns, and keep on course at the right time. Yeah, it's real good fun. There you go. So let me turn back a little bit. I've got to really overcorrect now, and finish the flight before bedtime. Hopefully, shouldn't be too long to go. There's no DME, so you have to really also work that out. I tend not to cheat. This is just on here. That's tuned into Waco. I don't normally cheat using Navigraph moving maps or VORs when, there's no point. If you're going to fly this system, then fly it. Don't mix it with modern stuff. It doesn't make sense. I wouldn't know how to use the GPS in here, the Garmin. No idea. But just for backup here to show you 115.9, I think is let's get Navigraph 1159. Yeah, there we go. See, we're heading to the station right now. 1159. You can use the VOR if you want to. There's the needle. So yeah, we've got to turn a little bit more right to get back on our course. And there we go. That's how it works. Anyway, I'll just stay on that course and finish the video and say thanks a lot. Have fun with it. Any questions, put them in the comments. Probably won't be able to help because I'm not an expert. Just having fun with it. Hopefully the DC-3 will land soon, the freeware one, the yarn one. That's incredible. I do have it actually in Flight Simulator, but the gauges and the VC is not clickable. But there you go. Hopefully it won't be too long. Thank you and enjoy.